Listen to me with extreme focus today, for we stand at a critical juncture. We are living in an era profoundly defined by cunning deception, where the true enemy does not hide in shadows, but boldly occupies the brightest spotlight. He broadcasts from your screens, resonates through your music, and whispers from the mouths of people your children admire and look up to. Today, we must confront a stark reality, something insidiously poisoning our culture from its very core. It is a spiritual toxin, deceptively wrapped in glamour and the allure of fame, and it signals the undeniable rise of practices associated with witchcraft. This isn't happening in some far-off, forgotten land, but right in the pulsating heart of our most celebrated institutions, in Hollywood itself. This truth may shock you, it might even disturb you to your core, but understanding it, truly knowing it, has become an urgent necessity. Some of the most revered figures in our contemporary world are not merely playing characters or enacting roles on a screen. They are actively engaging in a dark spirituality, one that ancient wisdom and the timeless Word of God unequivocally condemn in the strongest possible terms. Our purpose here is not to engage in idle gossip, nor to pass superficial judgment. Rather, we are here to arm ourselves with profound knowledge, to cultivate the wisdom to be as discerning as a serpent, yet to remain as innocent and harmless as a dove. It is absolutely essential that we protect our homes, fortify our minds, and shield the precious souls of our children from these subtle yet incredibly dangerous influences. For understand this, what you consciously allow into your life, what you choose to celebrate and admire, carries with it profound spiritual consequences. Every song you absorb, every movie you watch, and every celebrity you choose to follow can, in a spiritual sense, open a door within your own being. You are, and must be, the vigilant gatekeeper of your very own soul. With this deep understanding, we now carefully, yet firmly, pull back the curtain. We will explore the spiritual paths some famous individuals have chosen, not with a spirit of condemnation, but with a solemn quest for understanding. Our aim is to apply the unchanging truths of ancient wisdom and sacred texts to the patterns and choices we observe, to gain clarity in a world often obscured by illusion. First, we must discuss Ravenssimone, a figure many of you watched grow up on television. She has openly admitted to possessing what she describes as spiritual abilities, claiming to perceive and interpret energy. She speaks freely about experiencing psychic moments since childhood and asserts that she communicates with beings she refers to as spirit guides. These experiences, she states, grant her strong feelings or premonitions about various matters. She does not adhere to a specific organized religion, instead defining her spirituality as a deeply personal connection, closely aligned with New Age beliefs, and employs practices like meditation to try and strengthen these abilities. However, when we consult ancient scriptures, a very different picture emerges. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 18 states with absolute clarity, "Let no one be found among you who practices divination or sorcery, interprets omens, engages in witchcraft, or casts spells, or who is a medium or spiritist, or who consults the dead." This word is unambiguous. Communication with spirit guides is not presented as a special gift from the divine. Instead, it is depicted as a perilous connection to forces outside of divine protection. These are not benevolent guides, but rather potential deceivers. The adversary always offers a clever counterfeit, a false sense of power, an illusion of special knowledge, making you believe you possess a unique gift. But any spiritual power that does not emanate from the purest source, from the true spirit of light, is fundamentally a trap. You must grasp this critical point. When you consciously open yourself to such experiences, you are inadvertently granting spiritual access to deceptive influences, inviting energies into your life that are not aligned with divine truth. Their ultimate mission is to lead you astray from the truth of pure spiritual insight and liberation. The warning here is clear and resounding. Reject any voice that is not the voice of the true, benevolent guide. Test the spirits. Any premonition, any so-called guide that does not ultimately direct you toward pure truth and selfless love is fundamentally a misleading influence. Next, we turn our attention to Jennifer Lopez, a figure whose spiritual allegiances have been the subject of serious claims. These allegations come from her first ex-husband, Ojani Noah, made public during contentious legal battles after their divorce. He has asserted that they participated in rituals connected to the Santeria religion, specifically claiming to have witnessed her in a cleansing ceremony that involved animal sacrifice. These are, of course, grave accusations from an ex-spouse, and it is crucial to remember they have not been officially confirmed by Jennifer Lopez herself. Yet, we must exercise profound spiritual wisdom. Ancient texts have much to say about such practices. Santeria, an Afro-Caribbean religion, includes within some of its branches animal sacrifice as a sacred offering. However, in the narrative of ultimate spiritual sacrifice, the era of animal offerings has drawn to a close. The shedding of the blood of bulls and goats is no longer required, for the teachings in the book of Hebrews chapter 10 clearly state that Jesus represented the final, perfect sacrifice whose blood was shed once and for all for the atonement of humanity's transgressions. Any religion or practice that still demands the literal shedding of animal blood stands in this light as a rejection of this ultimate singular act of sacrifice. It becomes an empty ritual, devoid of true salvific power. Whether these specific allegations regarding Jennifer Lopez are factually true or not, they illuminate a spiritual darkness that is undeniably real. People are perpetually searching for power, for cleansing, for protection, and in this search, deceptive forces offer a counterfeit religion based on elaborate rituals and physical sacrifices rather than inner transformation and faith. This serves as a potent reminder to us all. Be profoundly careful about the spiritual connections you form. Be discerning about who you choose as a life partner, for spiritual imbalances in partnerships can bring significant spiritual trouble into your life. The spiritual practices of your companion will inevitably affect your own existence, your home, and your children. Even the mere rumor of such practices should heighten our spiritual awareness. We are called to pray deeply for those who might be lost within such systems, praying that they would come to recognize the profound truth of the one, final, perfect sacrifice, Jesus Christ. The third individual we must consider is Lana Del Rey, whose connection to witchcraft is not merely a rumor, but a matter she has openly and directly professed herself. In 2017, she publicly issued a call for her fans to join her in a mass binding spell against a political leader. She even posted the specific dates for these rituals, carefully timed to align with the phases of the moon, and later confirmed her personal participation. She identifies herself as a mystic, firmly believing that her thoughts and words carry a magical potency. Her music itself often permeates with a certain dark, almost witchy aesthetic. This transcends mere artistic expression or poetic license. It represents a deliberate and intentional promotion of specific occult practices. Consider the immense spiritual danger inherent in this. A celebrity with millions of followers actively teaching them how to perform spells. A binding spell is, at its core, a form of spiritual coercion, an attempt to manipulate or harm another person through the invocation of forces outside of divine will. She, with full awareness, invited her young, impressionable fans into this specific spiritual darkness alongside her. The book of James, chapter 3, issues a solemn warning about the profound power of the tongue, describing it as capable of being a world of evil, a restless fire full of deadly poison. When one consciously utters words of cursing, they are aligning themselves with energies that lead to division and falsehood. The music she creates often becomes a vehicle for this particular spirit, promoting a feeling of beautiful sadness, a romanticized idea of darkness that can gradually pull one's spirit down into places of hopelessness and despair. You must become the diligent guardian of your ears. The music you permit into your life creates a palpable spiritual atmosphere within your home and even in your car. What kind of atmosphere are you intentionally creating? One of unwavering faith and hope, or one of creeping doubt and despair. The lesson embedded here is profound. Words possess immense power. Music possesses immense power. Therefore, we must make a conscious and disciplined choice to fill our lives with words and songs that bring forth life, that speak undeniable truth, and that honor the divine. Reject the alluring lullabies of darkness, no matter how superficially beautiful they may sound. Now let us consider Vanessa Hudgens, another celebrity who has been exceptionally open about her spiritual life and directly identifies as a witch. In interviews, she has explicitly stated, "I am a witch." Her practice, as she describes it, revolves around connecting with nature and the moon, and she openly uses spiritual items such as crystals and tarot cards. This is not a hidden secret. She speaks about a spiritual awakening that led her down this specific path. She also claims to possess the ability to communicate with spirits, an experience she states she has had since childhood. She has even featured in a documentary film chronicling her journey to Salem, Massachusetts, to delve deeper into the study of witchcraft. She is making a deliberate, conscious effort to reclaim the word witch and present it as something positive and empowering. This represents one of the most subtle yet clever strategies of spiritual deception. The attempt to rebrand witchcraft, making it appear harmless, natural, and even beneficial. It is often cloaked in terms like connecting with nature or finding your personal power. However, fundamentally, a witch is a witch. To call a poison candy does not alter its inherent nature. It remains deadly. The spiritual warnings against witchcraft in sacred texts do not include exceptions for good witches or nature witches. All forms of witchcraft, all divination, and all communication with spirits other than the one true divine are seen as acts of rebellion against the Creator. It is an attempt to seek power outside of the singular, true source of all power. The danger this poses is immense, particularly for young, impressionable people. They see a famous, beautiful actress proclaiming that being a witch is empowering. They observe her using tarot cards and crystals, and it might appear exciting or edgy. Yet, these are not harmless toys. They are spiritual doorways. Tarot cards are a clear form of divination, and crystals are often utilized as objects to channel specific spiritual energies. These practices inherently open one up to influences that are not divinely pure. The lesson from her narrative is clear. We cannot afford to be naive. We must teach our children that the world's fluctuating definition of good does not align with the eternal divine definition. True empowerment does not originate from crystals or cards. It comes from aligning with pure spiritual wisdom. We must be prepared to articulate the hope that resides within us. When the prevailing culture suggests that witchcraft is good, we must be ready to lovingly yet firmly explain why it represents a dangerous spiritual misconception. Fifth, we examine the artist Lizzo, whose practices perfectly illustrate how some aspects of witchcraft are being subtly interwoven with modern wellness and self-help culture. She uses crystals during her meditations and frequently discusses concepts like the higher self and vibrations, which are central ideas within many New Age belief systems. She consistently integrates these spiritual elements into her public persona and her performances, promoting a message of self-love and empowerment through these specific methods. While she may not overtly use the label witch as much as others, her public advocacy for practices such as crystal healing and guided meditations firmly positions her within this contemporary spiritual movement. This, in essence, is the new face of idolatry. The ancient serpent's oldest deception in sacred texts was the promise, "You will be like God." The modern New Age movement, in many of its iterations, preaches precisely the same message. It subtly suggests that you are your own God, urging you to look within yourself for ultimate power, to raise your vibrations, and to connect with your higher self. But who or what is this higher self? In this context, it often serves as a substitute for the true guiding spirit. It is, at its root, the worship of the self. Ancient wisdom states in Jeremiah 17, "Cursed is the one who trusts in man, who draws strength from mere flesh, and whose heart turns away from the Lord." This wellness culture can be profoundly seductive, promising peace, perfect health, and boundless power. However, any peace that does not originate from profound inner harmony with universal truth is merely a temporary illusion. Any power that does not emanate from the divine source is a dangerous counterfeit. The lesson here is critically important for our modern times. We must exercise acute discernment regarding the entire wellness industry. Not all forms of meditation are aligned with pure spiritual truth. We must ask ourselves, does this practice direct me inwards, solely towards myself, or does it point me towards something greater, toward pure, selfless truth? Does it encourage me to rely solely on my own limited strength or on the boundless strength of the divine? True wellness is not discovered in a crystal. It is found in aligning with profound universal wisdom and selfless love. That is where our true peace and enduring strength reside. Finally, we come to Ariana Grande. The information suggests that categorizing her within this list as a practitioner of witchcraft is in fact somewhat misleading, and this is a crucial distinction we must fully grasp. She has studied Kabbalah, which is a form of Jewish mysticism, not directly equivalent to witchcraft. Her interest in this path reportedly began after she expressed disagreement with certain teachings within the Catholic Church. Her story serves as a powerful example of a different, yet equally potent, kind of spiritual danger, the danger of spiritual confusion. It starkly illustrates what can transpire when individuals feel disillusioned or hurt by traditional religious institutions and then begin searching for answers elsewhere. The adversary does not solely employ obvious darkness, such as spells and curses. He also masterfully crafts complex, intellectual and mystical spiritual systems that appear profound and enlightening. Yet, these too often become sophisticated distractions from the profound simplicity of genuine spiritual liberation. Kabbalah is indeed a mystical tradition, rich in symbolism and introspection, but it is not presented as the singular path to ultimate truth and divinity revealed through the teachings of selfless love and compassion. Spiritual teachers often say, "I am the way and the truth and the life." No one comes to the ultimate source except through genuine surrender and transformation. There are no secret, hidden paths. There are no mystical shortcuts to true understanding. There is only the path of pure, unadulterated truth. When people, especially young individuals, feel rejected or misunderstood by spiritual institutions, they become profoundly vulnerable. They begin an earnest search, and in that void, countless counterfeit spiritualities eagerly await. The lesson for us is twofold. First, we must offer earnest prayers for all who are genuinely searching, that their quest ultimately leads them to the essence of selfless love and wisdom, rather than becoming entangled in complex, intricate systems of mystical thought. Second, our communities must strive to be places of profound love, acceptance, and compassion. We must be profoundly careful not to alienate or push people away with rigid judgment or superficial legalism. Instead, we must courageously demonstrate the true heart of compassion, which is boundless grace and profound understanding. Ariana Grande's journey is a powerful reminder that the spiritual battle for souls is not only against overt expressions of malevolent practices. It is also against every high and lofty idea that sets itself up against the profound, liberating knowledge of true wisdom. So, with all this insight, what do we do? Hearing about these things can certainly be unsettling. It can even evoke fear. But we are not called to a spirit of fear, but rather to one of power, of boundless love, and of a sound, disciplined mind. This information is not intended to make you afraid of any celebrity. Its true purpose is to awaken your awareness to the profound spiritual war in which we are undeniably engaged. The adversary is fighting for the very heart of our culture, and he is utilizing its most powerful and influential voices to wage this battle. Therefore, the initial step involves a profound spiritual deep cleaning of your dwelling. Guided by your deepest intuition and spiritual conscience, you must go through your home. Examine your music collections, peruse your movie shelves, consider the books your children are reading. Ask yourself sincerely, does this object, this piece of art, this entertainment truly honor divine wisdom, Or does it inadvertently serve as an open door for deceptive influences? And when your inner conscience reveals something to you, you must be absolutely ruthless. Do not keep an object of potential darkness in your home simply because it was expensive or because you appreciate the artist. The spiritual safety and sanctity of your family are paramount. Some items you may need to simply discard. Other things you may need to symbolically purify. Do not pass on a potentially harmful object to someone else. Spiritually sever its influence completely. You must demonstrate a profound commitment to fostering a truly holy and protected home environment. Secondly, you must become the diligent guardian of your own mind. Ancient teachings such as those in Philippians 4:8 instruct us precisely what to dwell upon. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable. Does the entertainment you consume align with this description? Or does it consistently fill your mind with shadows and confusion? You cannot cultivate a life of profound purity and inner peace if you are perpetually feeding your mind a diet of spiritual junk food. Make a conscious choice today to be utterly intentional. Choose to engage with things that build your faith, that uplift your spirit, and that draw you closer to divine understanding. Thirdly, you must engage in fervent prayer and contemplation. Pray for discernment like never before. The deceptions are becoming increasingly subtle and pervasive. You need profound spiritual clarity to perceive what is truly occurring beneath the surface of appearances. Pray for your children. Envelop them in prayer every single day. Pray that they develop an unwavering love for truth and a deep aversion to anything that leads astray. Pray that they will not be ensnared by the empty philosophies and fleeting distractions of this transient world. Extend your prayers even to these celebrities. Do not curse them. Rather, pray earnestly for their enlightenment and liberation. They too are often captives within spiritual complexities, lost and operating in spiritual blindness. Pray that the radiant light of liberating truth and compassion illuminates their hearts. Finally, you must unequivocally recognize your inherent spiritual authority. You are not a powerless victim. You are a child of the Most High sacred existence. You possess an innate connection to universal wisdom and love. Ancient texts declare you have been given authority to overcome all the power of the enemy. That power is not derived from your own limited ego. It flows from the boundless source of ultimate truth. When you sense a presence or spirit of darkness, you do not have to cower in fear. You stand your ground firmly, and you speak truth, and you command that lower energy to depart from your presence, from your home, from your family. This is not a trivial game. This is a profound spiritual war, and it is time for the children of awakened consciousness to emerge from their slumber. It is time to don the full armor of spiritual strength and engage in the good fight of unwavering faith. The world may appear to grow darker, but the darker the night, the more brightly the light of truth and conscious awareness must shine. O Divine Source, in the mighty presence of universal truth, we come before you today with open and sober hearts. We offer gratitude for your eternal wisdom, which serves as a guiding light for our journey. We humbly acknowledge any moments of unawareness, every instance where we allowed the transient influences of this world to entertain us without truly considering the spiritual cost. Forgive us, we pray, for such oversight. We now earnestly ask you to imbue us with a spirit of profound wisdom and revelation. Open our spiritual eyes. Help us to perceive the world as it truly is, beyond mere illusion. Assist us in recognizing the subtle schemes of deception. We stand firm against any influence of spiritual manipulation that attempts to operate through our culture, through our music, and through our entertainment. We declare that such influences hold no power, no place, and no authority in our lives or in our homes. We mentally envelop ourselves and our families with the precious light of profound truth. We declare that no lower energy formed against us shall prosper. We are expressions of the divine, we are protected, we are victorious, and we humbly lift up these public figures to you. Divine Source, make us courageous and unwavering. Help us to be the salt that preserves truth and the light that illuminates the world. Use us as instruments to bring forth your kingdom of love, compassion, and understanding here on earth, just as it is in the heavens. We offer you all glory, all honor, and all praise. In the powerful and unconquerable name of eternal truth we pray. Amen.